If you thought The Idol was already disturbing enough, wait until you hear what weird and horrible rules the cast was forced to follow on set. The director of The Idol, Sam Levinson, has set some rules to make it possible for the cast to be bolder and more daring on set. However, he doesn't stop at that, as he makes sure every actor gives their all to the making of the show, including giving up their restroom breaks. That's one of the first weird rules that made some of the actors on set horribly uncomfortable, as it had a dehumanizing and humiliating undertone. The cast of The Idol was treated pretty much the same as the cast of Euphoria, since they are both under the same authority. So it's a pretty serious requirement for the actors and actresses to delay using the restroom for as long as possible to avoid messing with filming. If a cast member urgently needed to use the restroom while filming, they must hold it in until there's a general restroom break. The funny thing about this rule is that the main cast working with Sam Levinson sees no issue with this rule. However, the background actors have spoken out against this dangerous and belittling rule. An extra on set voiced their frustration, saying, "But it got to a point where I was like, I'm still a person. I'm still human. Please let me go to the restroom. Don't tell me I can't go for 30 minutes. It's just very much like we didn't exist as people." Just as much as Sam Levinson takes bathroom breaks seriously, he takes meal breaks just the same. Generally, there's a meal break rule set by SAG-AFTRA, which is short for Screen Actors Guild American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. The rule states that every cast and crew member must be able to eat every 6 hours on set. And further to enforce this rule, there's a $50 fine to be paid by defaulting producers and directors every half an hour that the actor remains unfed. But Sam Levinson didn't care about the union rule, and he completely disregarded it. He set his own new rule on the show's set. The cast only go on a meal break at a time without hurting filming, even though their filming timeline varies. So the cast of The Idol can't take a quick snack break, which they weren't pleased with. However, they have no choice and must stand by the rule, as they signed up for it when the direction shifted towards Levinson after the previous director had to exit. Another weird but necessary rule on the set of The Idol that you probably noticed from the first episode is that nightlife is very important, and many of the cast and crew members must be ready to work through the night. The club scenes where Tedros first meets Jocelyn were mostly shot at night, and even though staying up at night for most people alters their productivity, it was a requirement because the show calls for it. So the cast and crew needed to accept that the set of The Idol is not like a typical 9-to-5 job. But Sam Levinson stretched this rule a bit too far by keeping the cast and crew up every night for up to a week. Although some scenes are shot during the day, the cast and crew, just like Euphoria, had to stay committed to the job from around 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. with no excuse. If Levinson, as the director, could be available at those odd hours, then the cast and crew needed to take it just as seriously. And it's nothing new that these long hours on set make actors severely angry, as the cast of Euphoria also previously complained about being frustrated by how the filming was done. To work with Sam Levinson on the set of The Idol means to be okay with flowing with whatever comes, as most times the set wasn't organised enough for the cast and the crew to know what to do next. However, they had to be readily available for the chaos, as Levinson was reported to have come on set with no planned storyboard of how a daily filming schedule would look like. So reliable sources from the production of The Idol mentioned that they were rewriting the scripts and reshooting the scenes in real time. And it got to a point where they had no clue which scene was coming on next and how it would all come together in the end. As a result, the set became chaotic and hard to read and follow by crew members, as there were major delays. One background extra complained about how the set became toxic, saying, "It was the most disorganized set I've ever been a part of, because I don't think anybody knew what was going on. It got so messed up on the set that extras had to hide from being selected from scenes that they weren't sure how long it would take." According to the extra, some scenes take up to 3 hours. Even if they tell the cast and crew it will only take 30 minutes, so it was quite a frustrating one. The Idol had to reshoot and rewrite many scenes on set because they had a big switch from one director to the other. According to HBO, the filming of The Idol, which started with Amy Seimetz, was later exchanged with Sam Levinson due to creative differences. And the series was almost ready under Amy, but Levinson started reshooting to suit his preference, which makes the rule of being able to adapt to big changes an important one for the cast of The Idol. So Amy wasn't bringing out the desired output that HBO wanted, despite the crew enjoying working under her direction, and only brought Levinson in to save the series, which they had to adjust to. It's no longer news that The Idol is a provocative show that's very open about not having enough clothes on, starting from the first scene where Jocelyn revealed her chest, which became a hot topic in the series. So if the characters could be so daring about revealing their bodies, it was a compulsory rule that the cast should also be comfortable with their natural body state. But then the cast who is majorly affected by this rule is Lily Rose Depp, who is featured bare in many parts of the show. However, the actress felt comfortable with this, and she had a conversation with the director about it. She mentioned that she actually loved working with Levinson because, according to her, he made the show a safe space for her. But it gets worse, as the cast is made to do extreme things on set, which the crew members must also be able to execute right. The disturbing contents that the cast and the crew of The Idol had to be comfortable with include a scene involving Tedros inserting an egg into Jocelyn's private parts. The scene involves a lot more disturbing things, like Tedros refusing to have any further relations with Jocelyn if she dropped the egg from her body. This scene was so horrible in every way that the crew scrapped it altogether because first, it was impossible to film without breaking the egg, and second, it was just straight up disgusting. The scene made Depp's character enjoy whatever The Weeknd's character was feeding her by going as far as begging him to ravish her forcefully, and the cast and crew couldn't believe their ears while reading this part of the script. So going extreme on the set of Sam Levinson, as a rule, was frowned upon, even though the cast still went overboard to bring their provocative sides to the show. You may have noticed background actors had the most complaints about the rules on set, and that's because there was no care or adequate provision for them. The main cast were more taken care of on the set of The Idol because they had optimized contracts and working conditions safeguarding them. However, it's a lot worse for the extras, as they had to go by the rules even though there was no holding room for them. So filming was extremely challenging for the cast, who only had a little to do in the show. The extras were made to hang around anywhere around the filming location in their skimpy outfits no matter the cold temperature, as they are the ones who have to fend for themselves. The only available provision for the extras on set was some pull-out chairs close to the bushes around the filming area to sit and wait until needed. Also, a few space heaters were provided for warmth, but that's all there is to it, as the comfort the major cast enjoyed weren't extended to the extras. So it was an unspoken rule that they fend and look after themselves because Levinson doesn't care as much. Another crazy and weird rule on the set of The Idol is there's barely any chance for a female writer. The director in charge of the series before Levinson took over, Amy Seimetz, a woman, was let off because her direction was said to lean more towards the female perspective. Amy was also the one writing the scripts before Levinson took over, and HBO had already spent around $54 to $75 million for Amy's aspect of the series. But Levinson and The Weeknd wanted to avoid Amy's angle. He cleared everything and started rewriting and reshooting to suit his narration and shift more focus to the male lead, making this rule of Levinson not wanting a female writer even more true. So Levinson, who saw Amy's version of The Idol as too feminist, rewrote it to make it more disturbing in a way that unsettled many of the cast and crew and also disorganized the whole working schedule that they've been used to from the beginning. Strangely, this isn't the first time Levinson would be accused of setting a rule like this on set, as fans continuously complained of Euphoria lacking a female representation. So, what do you think of these weird and disturbing rules that the cast of The Idol had to stick to? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching.